climate change, natural disasters, and locusts. Here are the top 10 terrifying 2022 predictions that change everything. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have climate change. I know some of you don't want to hear about this one, but it is always on the list of predictions for years to come, and we're just starting off with it and getting it out of the way. The climate is a delicate thing, and our presence here on Earth has a great effect on it. The climate can make our lives significantly easier, or it can make our lives significantly harder, so it really is something that is important to note. 2021 saw both heat and cold records broken, and it saw its fair share of natural disasters, floods, and fires. It is predicted that 2022 unfortunately won't be much different, sadly, which is not what we had hoped for. There aren't necessarily any exact predictions surrounding the climate, it's just the idea that we will continue to see some of the most extreme weather we have ever seen. In our number 9 spot today, we have the climate war. Speaking of the whole climate change thing, this is a prediction for 2022 that comes from Nostradamus. There's a couple more of his predictions on this list today, so if you don't know, Nostradamus was a man who lived in the 1500s, and he was an astrologer, poet, and what is called a seer, as he published a book of quatrain poems that are said to predict future events, and some of these predictions have actually come true. One of his predictions he has for 2022 is, quote, "Under the opposite Babylonian climate, great will be without the outpouring." I read that and didn't know what it meant either, but some people smarter than me have come to the conclusion that this is a prediction about the start of a climate war. It is said that this war is going to be a result of a lack of resources, and whichever country is involved is going to begin attacking the country next to them to try and gather their resources. Who knows if this will come true? I guess that's why it's called a prediction, and if it were to, who knows what countries would be involved. In our number 8 spot today, we have an economic recession. It is very obvious that the entire pandemic and last few years have had an unprecedented effect on the economy. I know every country is in a very different phase right now, and a lot of people have different mindsets, but I can say, as a Canadian, every time we start to get somewhere where things are opening back up and they feel like they're on the right track, everything just gets shut right down again, and we're back in March of 2020. The constant opening and closing of businesses is definitely taking its toll on the economy, as well as travel restrictions affecting tourism, general anxiety causing people to not go out and spend their money, all the Amazon packages. The pandemic has flipped our lives completely around, and the economy has taken a big hit because of it. This is exactly why people are predicting that in the new year we will see an economic recession. I hope this one really isn't true, because people all over the world have struggled enough for the last couple of years. In our number 7 spot today, we have the Glacier. This is a prediction that comes to us from Baba Vanga, the late Bulgarian mystic and clairvoyant who has made a series of predictions, some of which have eerily come true. One of the predictions of hers for this year is a bit of a strange one, and considering our current global climate, this is one we are all definitely hoping isn't true. She predicted that this year an ancient glacier is going to melt due to global warming, which is probably a decently accurate prediction, but she also said that within this glacier will be a virus, and once the glacier melts, this virus will now be released to the world. The worst part is that this is said to be a virus that humans simply cannot handle. This isn't where her predictions for humanity end, so I'm not exactly sure how she expects us to recover from that, but I'm just gonna wait and see, I guess. In our number 6 spot today, we have a world power. Back with another Baba Vanga prediction. This one is a little murky as to what exactly it means, but there are some theories. She apparently said that the year will see 3 giants unite and a strong dragon will seize humanity. Remember how I said exactly what this means is a little unclear? People have speculated that perhaps the 3 giants could be 3 of the most powerful countries, maybe the United States, Russia, and China, but seeing all these powerhouse countries unite would be quite a shocking prediction if it were to come true. There are others who think that maybe the strong dragon part is in reference to some country rising into a more powerful position than we've seen before. At this point, who knows exactly what the next year is going to hold, but I think it's pretty safe to say that anything can happen. In our number 5 spot today, we have a conflict. Nostradamus was busy when it came to predicting things for 2022, so here's another one of his best guesses. He wrote, quote, "Of blood and hunger greater calamity, 7 times oppressed to the marine beach, monarch of hunger, place taken, captivity." Yeah, again, another one I simply did not understand, but it is apparently basically saying that his prediction is that 2022 will see an increase in world hunger due to the increase in armed conflicts. That's like a double whammy of terrible. As a result of this uptick in hunger, there will also be more movements in terms of population. I'm talking about more people immigrating to other countries in order to escape these terrible conditions. He doesn't seem to mention anything in the prediction of which countries he thinks will be affected or where those fleeing will make their new home, but that would be pretty freaky if he somehow had the ability to name all of those specifics. For now, we can definitely take this slightly vague prediction and just hope it doesn't come true. In our number 4 spot today, we have Locusts. This Baba Vanga prediction might actually be pretty accurate because it's something that has been seen in the past and something that has been quite a relevant issue in the last few years, especially in 2020. Baba Vanga has predicted an apocalypse-style scene in India where she believes swarms of locusts will be next year. Like I mentioned before, in 2020, India was dealing with the worst swarms of locusts that were seen in decades, so it's entirely possible that 2022 might be an absolute nightmare for them as well. There are plenty of reasons why this poses a major problem, but one of the main ones is that those bugs can absolutely devour food and they reproduce fast. Lots of quick, hungry bugs is a really huge dilemma for farmers everywhere, and a couple of years ago this issue was really impacting crops. Hopefully next year won't see these same issues come back. Like I've said before, people have dealt with enough in the last few years. In our number 3 spot today, we have Catastrophes. This one kind of goes hand in hand with number 10 on this list that we started off with, climate change, but this one is just getting a little more specific and is actually about natural disasters, more specifically earthquakes and tsunamis. Another Baba Vanga prediction, she was able to predict the 2004 tsunami, so this 2022 prediction is made all the more eerie. She claims that in 2022 we will see an increase in multiple different kinds of catastrophes, but especially earthquakes and tsunamis. She then went on to explain more about who she believes will be hit the hardest and which places will be impacted the most by the severe weather. She said that several Asian countries as well as Australia will be seeing intense bouts of flooding. Nostradamus also had a prediction for 2022 regarding this, except for his, he predicts that Japan is going to be seeing an earthquake that is going to appear in the middle of the day. Part of this is a good thing because the timing of it will potentially minimize the human loss, but he does make it clear that he believes the material loss will be great. These sorts of things are very scary to think about because there isn't really a way to predict them for certain, and there is really nothing we can do about Mother Nature. In our number 2 spot today, we have Paris. For one last Nostradamus prediction for this list today, we have this super worrisome one. He apparently wrote, quote, "All around the great city will be soldiers lodged by fields and cities." This is said to mean that for 2022 he is predicting that Paris will be under siege. For what reasons? Well, that remains unclear. There are other ways to interpret this prediction, like perhaps it's more so stating that the city will just be kind of closed off for a while, but truly, who knows? I wish the people who made these predictions were a little more direct with them, but hey, who am I to critique Nostradamus? At the end of the day, the good news is that this is just a prediction, and Nostradamus has been wrong before. It just puts people on edge to hear these scary thoughts, which totally makes sense. I wonder if Nostradamus predicted that a random Canadian would be here talking about his poems into a camera to upload to the internet for thousands of strangers. In our number 1 spot today, we have a water crisis. Water is obviously something that is necessary to sustain life here on Earth, and although it may not seem like it, there is a limited amount of it. This prediction has to do with water, or more so, the lack of it. It is predicted that in 2022, because of a multitude of reasons that includes increases in population as well as river pollution, that we will soon be seeing a lack of drinking water. It is unclear exactly who they think this will affect the most, but it's a really scary thought regardless. It has long been predicted that we will one day be fighting each other for the little drinkable water we have left, and the closer we get to that being a reality is pretty terrifying. I think it's pretty safe to say that we can all likely agree that this would be a very bad scenario for people to be in, but I also think it's important that we acknowledge how many people there are who currently don't have any access to clean or running water. This isn't a new problem, unfortunately, and I really wish we could be predicting the opposite of this one. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I'll see you next time. Bye! There's a freaking fly in here. The constant opening and closing of businesses is definitely taking... There's a train. For now, we can definitely take this slightly vague prediction and just hope it doesn't come true. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that, because I'm not saying that I hope immigration doesn't happen. I'm just saying I hope that people don't have to flee and now no one's hungry.